what you can do.
How different is Miami to attack in a 3-4 or 4-3 as opposed to a 4?
To be honest, it really doesn't matter whether they're 3-4 or 4-3. Their front is very good either way. You know, they've given people fits in the preseason and last week. They've got some really good pass rush. They did a good job against the run. It's just a very solid group. Definitely the strength of their defense.
Good experience on the ball. We're talking about going west to east, west to east. What is it? Is it difficult?
You know, when you change time zones, you can't get to sleep. It's 11 o'clock there. It's 8 o'clock for your body. You'll get your rest, but looking at the schedule, he gave us ahead of time so we really get our mind prepared. The way the schedule's set up, guys will be rested and we'll be ready to play this game. You know, we're excited to get back on the field. You know, guys are ready to play today after Monday night, so we'll be prepared. And to be honest, we're not thinking west to east, time zone change, humidity. We're thinking about a chance to play football and get to 1-on-1 and get a bad taste out of our mouths.
How important was it, Carson, for Rod to get not only that touchdown pass, but the 2-point conversion after, to get his confidence back up after that early fumble?
Yeah, you know, you know, talking to him, that fumble is a strictly experience play. It wasn't a bad play by him. It's just something you learn with experience. As you have catches and years in this league, you understand on third down to get down. I love his heart. I love his fight. He's trying to get an extra yard and a half, which you love to see. I mean, that's who he is as a person. That's who he is as a player. And it's just something. It's a great lesson for him to have learned. You know, you're never glad anything like that happens, except in this situation. I'm glad he learned a good lesson because you can talk about it, and until you're on the field and you're presented with that situation, and it's happened before. Next time, I'll almost guarantee it, he'll get down. He'll dive on the ground. He'll know he has a first down. Getting us the first down and then getting down. It's just a strictly experienced play. And I don't think it affected his confidence. He's a very naturally confident person. You know, I looked him in the eyes right after the play and I could tell he was disappointed, but he wasn't shook, you know, and he bounced back and made plays later on in the game.
When you got the locker room and you looked at the stat sheet and saw you threw 18 times to your bat, were you surprised? And was that something that the Chargers dictated, or something where did you go in thinking, you know, we're going to use him a lot as a receiver in this game?
A little bit was game plan. You know, we had some certain plays really scripted for him. We wanted to get him the ball, but a lot of it was, you know, they were dropping deep underneath our deeper routes, and we didn't take a ton of shots downfield just because of the depth the defense was playing. And there's not anybody better to give the ball in the open field with you know, one guy to make miss to get, you know, 17 yards on one play he got. He almost scored down there at the end of the half on a simple check down where they were just straight, you know, dropping 7 into coverage, and he almost gets in the end zone and made 3 or 4 guys miss. So some of it was play, you know, play calls and design, but you know, if they're going to drop underneath there, we're not going to force the ball down the field. We're going to give it to him, and you know, we'll continue to move the chains.
You're familiar with Reggie Bush? Are those guys? Are they similar players?
I don't think so. You know, Darren's one of a kind. You know, it's hard to think of anybody, you know, over the years that you would say he, you know, has a similar style to it. He's a very unique player. There's nobody in the game today that is like him or has his same ability and style.
I get frustrating. I know you like to get the ball downfield. Does it get frustrating at all when they take that away and you're having to just check down?
No, you can't let it frustrate you. You know, as long as you're moving the chains. You know, I think we had 2 3-and-outs that obviously you don't ever want to happen, but we continue to move the ball, and those check downs, you know, it frustrates the defense. They cover everybody, and then McFadden somehow gets 9 yards out of it in the second and 1. It seemed like we got quite a few of those in the game. But you can't let it frustrate you, because once you start getting frustrated, that's when you start forcing the ball into holes where they want you to throw it. If they're going to make us check it down, and we got Darren to check it down, so we're going to continue to do it.
If you get your zone running going, does that make it easier to take the shots? Would that have opened things up?
Yeah, you know, we looking back at the game, we did a really good job in the first half. I think, you averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry. We had some negative plays that really hurt us in the second half, and the running game it was 2 different halves as far as the running game was concerned. We just didn't quite get it going. So it's something that's been addressed and been talked about, worked on, and coached. We'll get it fixed this week.
How did Denarius look today, sort of compared to last week? Because
he looked like Denarius of old. He made a couple of phenomenal catches. His burst was there last week. It's just, I think, more conditioning. Just, really getting in practice. There's a totally different type of shape. You can run wind sprints, you can get on the treadmill and on the bike and all those things, but he got a great week of practice in last week and probably could have played, but it was a very, very smart move by the staff and the training guys to hold him out, to let him really get his lungs right and get his game tempo, game speed right. And he's back this week. So.
Carson, you mentioned this already, but exactly how important is it to get a win and even that record at 1-1 versus being possibly 0-2 if you guys lose?
It's the most important thing right now. I mean, it's all we're focused on. To lose a game, the only way you get any satisfaction back from the week before is by a win. You forget about the week before and you move on to the next one. So this team is solely focused on getting a win in Miami.
What's it mean to get Denarius back? To have him back?
We were forced into playing different guys last week. We would have liked to have been in some 3 wide sets, but numbers wise we couldn't. So what happened was Streeter and Darius Hayward, they were just worn out. I mean, they were running deep routes, getting covered downfield because they were dropping underneath the coverage, and a couple times just didn't have it in them. Just because numbers wise they didn't get any breaks, they never came off the field. So just getting another guy in the mix will save their legs a little bit. It definitely gives the defense somebody to prepare for.
That pass back to the end where we saw Hagan last year was almost big. What did you see there?
When I saw it on the field, I just kind of saw him flash, and I wasn't patient enough with it. I saw him flash real quick and should have put a little more touch on it, I thought at the time. But I went back and looked on the film, and wish I could have that one back. I wish I would have been a little bit more patient, gotten a little bit farther outside the pocket, and would have let him get a little more separation between him and safety.
Is there ever a danger of too much McFadden both on Monday? I mean, teams getting used to defenses focusing on him, and also overuse maybe?
You don't want to overuse him, but I think I don't know how many carries he ended up with. I'd rather throw him the ball 10, 15 times than have him run the ball 35. But if they're going to let us throw it to him, that's okay with us. And if they're going to take him away, that means somebody's open downfield. So, we're going to be patient. I'm going to continue to let the offense come to me and take shots when they're there, but also be smart with the ball and try to stay on the field and move the chains and win the time of possession battle. Because that's big with the way our defense can play. If we can stay on the field and win the time of possession battle and keep Tommy Kelly and Richards and some of our DBs fresh, it's a good winning formula for us.
You recall the game last year in Miami, just how bad was it?
Yeah, it was a weird game. I've tried to forget about that one. It was just a weird week. They were in a interesting situation. The whole coaching change, kind of looming over their team. And to be honest, we've looked at the film and we'll watch it a little bit. But it's a new coordinator, a new defense. We've moved on from that. We're a different team than we were last year at that point. Completely different.
How much of a factor is the heat down there?
It'll be a factor. It's something that, just like we use the dirt when we play on it at home, it's an advantage because other guys don't play on it. They use the heat as an advantage for them. So it's something that's already been talked about. It's already been addressed as far as hydrating and, getting ready for it, getting mentally prepared for it. Fortunately, we had a couple days where it got hot in Napa Valley and got in the hundreds. But that humidity is just something you can't replicate. You can't prepare for. We got a lot of guys on our team from the south and from humidity, so it shouldn't be too big.